Hi, everybody. My name is Amber. I experience speech anxiety in a few different ways, in a few different settings. So, not only do I experience speech anxiety in a setting where I am giving a speech on a stage to a big audience, but also when I give my tours for my job. So, my job is a leasing consultant in Tempe. So, I show the property, the amenities, and the units for lease to tours. And sometimes there is a big group tour that comes in with many, many people, and it can be overwhelming. So, what happens to me, my palms, they get very, very sweaty. And I also start overthinking everything. It's almost like I'm thinking of so many things that can go wrong. I'm thinking of everything, but also nothing at the same time. Thinking of everything that can go wrong, but nothing that I could do good. I'm almost freezing in that moment for a brief second when I know that I'm about to go do this speech or sales pitch. So, what I do to cope with that, first thing I do is I wipe my sweaty palms off. And I also take a deep breath and I try to just face it head on and just go wherever the speech takes me, is what I like to think of it as. So I go with a smile on my face, I introduce myself to the audience, and then I just go from there. I try to remember that everyone has speech anxiety. And sometimes people even start their speeches by saying, I'm not that great at this whole speech thing. So everyone is like me, everyone has anxiety. And honestly, if I messed up my speech, they're probably not going to notice. And I try telling myself that and remembering that as I am speaking. So, one thing that I did in a public speaking event, it was my papa's birthday party, and it was a big one. So, the grandkids went up and they told some of their favorite memories with their papa. Well, I was one of the few grandkids because all the others, their anxiety was too high and they could not do it. There were many, many people at this event. And what I did to help me was I looked at my cousin in the audience. I tried to become familiar with one person that I know for sure would not judge me if I messed up and was really there for me with the whole ride because she was anxious too. So I just looked at her when I was speaking every so often after making eye contact with the rest of the audience. So those are some ways that I cope with my speech anxiety when I am giving the speech. But when I am not giving the speech, I think the best method is to practice, 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 but also practice in the mirror. So the reason I say in the mirror is because you are looking at yourself. So you can critique any nonverbal deliveries or any nonverbal messages that you're giving. So sometimes it can be facial expressions or your body movement, body language. If you don't have anyone to practice the speech with you and critique you, this is a great way to critique yourself and your speech. If you're trying to get a message across and you don't know how, you can have a rough draft as you're speaking to yourself in the mirror and kind of formulate the final draft from there. So I think practicing, but specifically practicing in the mirror is the best way. Also, because when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're getting familiar of how you are when you are speaking on stage, and it makes it a little less scary and you're more comfortable and confident in yourself. So that's how I experience speech anxiety and how I cope with it. Thank you for listening and have a great rest of your day.